In our streaming-obsessed world, do you miss DVD commentary tracks? Well, fear not, because I, Von Fry, the most scorned critic in all of YouTube, am here to give you commentary tracks for the movies streaming, the ones we love and love to hate. Tonight, I think we have a pretty good one for you from 2022, Top Gun Maverick, starring Tom Cruise and some other people. Now, before we get into it, I want to give a quick mention to my buddies over at CalderaLab.com, makers of the finest skincare for men. It'll have you going past the danger zone. This bar of soap, all natural, suds like crazy. You can save 15% on the body bar and their other goods at checkout by using my promo code FRY15. Okay, we've got our popcorn ready to go. I've got the butter on. You know what? I forgot the salt. Oh, well, forget it. We're in too deep. When you're up there, you don't have time to think. You think you're dead. Let's open up some root beer. Please don't get this all over me. All right. IBC is lock and loaded, and we are queuing up to Top Gun Maverick. Go to 0000 on Prime Video. I think this is also available on Paramount. Plus, hit play now. MGM Plus feature presentation, as it says on, you know what, I messed up. Now, I guess you could only watch this on Amazon Plus, because if you watch it on Paramount Plus, you wouldn't have gotten that part, but yeah. Then you get the Paramount logo. Then you get all this other nonsense. Skydance celebrating 10 years. Goody. Actually, I think they've been around longer than 10 years. Don Simpson, Jerry Bruckheimer films. You won't see that very often. Only because this being Top Gun, a film that Don Simpson was a producer of. And this duo was very much into the high contrast photography, low key light, rim light, doing the job. Oh, hey, we're so proud to have the original intro intact, the original music. Everything's the same. I can't really give a lot of kudos to that, because a lot of this doesn't make sense. They call it Top Gun. Okay, yeah, we got it. But then it's going to say Maverick. Okay, so we added that part. And you can see that's an off-white color also. I think that in trying to keep with the look of how titles would have potentially appeared on film if you watched it in 1986. This is a movie that I think should have won Best Picture, but I believe it is pretty flawed. I'm just saying that today's films being so garbage. Can you honestly say that, what is it, Once Upon a Time in the Universe of Everything at Once, that's better than this? That trash beats this? Oh, because diversity is our strength, right? So, yeah, we're trying to do as much of this similar as possible. I wonder if the safety gear is changed so little. Obviously, they are seeming flying some older planes to try to keep that intact. My issue here being, as I delve into my first bite of popcorn, should we be copying the first film, the intro like verbatim, if the scenario isn't even similar? So in the original film, we have the planes taken off. And yeah, we're getting a few different views here, but then it says somewhere over the Indian Ocean, right? Somewhere in the Indian Ocean. Like, undisclosed location. It's too dangerous for the audience to know. You might give away their intel. So, we then get that set up to put Maverick, Goose. I think he has to talk down Cougar, who is having the yips and can't land. Here we got this. Only because it was in the first movie. No relevance to the plot. Okay. Nope. Tom Cruise isn't going to be on that aircraft carrier. Nope. Just fade to black. And then we start our narrative, right? Oh, but it would have been too low key if we just started in Mojave Desert, California. I think we're using similar fonts here. You see how that J is unique? It looks like an I that dipped below the line. Tom Cruise looks okay here. This is a 2020 film that was released in 2022, so Tom Cruise could make more money. Couldn't just put it out on a streaming service and, not make a ton of dough. There was more money to be had in getting people back in the theaters. This is one of the films, it may actually be the film that saved the movie theaters. Reflecting on Goose and Meg Ryan, who also may have died. Like, they talk about her as though she died. I think people then say she died shortly after Goose. They did not alter Maverick's jacket patches. That's surprising. It looked like they were going to, and then they said, screw it, we're not kowtowing. I'm sure those are the words they used. I wasn't paying that much attention to his motorcycle in the first film, but I think we are to assume this is the motorcycle from the first film. Movie does a pretty good job with the music. Of course, it has a good template going for it. It has one of the best... It's the follow-up to a film with one of the best soundtrack score combinations of all time. So, pretty easy to follow, color inside the lines. Now, this is I think they called it the Dark Star. I haven't seen this since I saw it in theaters, but did get to fly this plane in the Microsoft Flight Simulator DLC expansion of sorts that they did for this. What? We got this big test, super expensive program. I want to be the first to break Mach 10. Admiral Kane. They couldn't get Principal Strickland to return, so they had to find another old bald guy. For that, we turned to Ed Harris. If he's not here yet, I guess we can just go ahead and do the test anyway. We're going to do a Mach 10 test, sure. Look, I don't care what pedigree and accomplishments the pilot has. They ain't letting a guy encroaching on 60 do this test flight. And now, but the reality is that the older pilots are actually pretty good because the blood, it's possibly the blood or the oxygen in them reacts differently than with young people. Like, the blood is more clotted, and they're able to hold on to their senses and not pass out during higher G turns. I still don't think that they would authorize this under any circumstances. So Lieutenant Pete Mitchell is now I don't think he's a lieutenant, but he is now a test pilot. I should have looked this up. I'm not sure how much of this vehicle is authentic. It looks like almost a baby SR-71. And from my understanding of it, you got Ed Harris walks out over here. And he's going to be upset. And he stands over there as this plane takes off. And they didn't anticipate the forces removing the roof on the over at the guard checkpoint. You'll see that happen. So I have to wonder what they were actually flying, because unfortunately there is more CGI in this film than I think people are led to believe. They were supposed to test for Mach 9. Instead, they're going to just go for broke, go for 10, and he's going to take it higher than that. Take as high as you can go, right? Boom. Throws that roof off. Wow. So was Ed Harris actually standing there? Probably not. I don't understand why this guy Admiral Tightass has to be like this. Like he's not going to get credit for this program if this works. If he's not there, I don't know. He's faking transmission issue. That's one of the characteristics of Maverick. He's the hothead. He's too dangerous, right? You'll think that there's a character introduced that's supposed to be like Iceman, but he's actually, and that's Hangman I'm talking about, he's actually more like Maverick than I think you're led to believe. Well, it looks like you'll be able to hit Mach 9, no problem. Obviously, we're doing a lot of CGI here. But they did have a sort of this declaration that planes in action may not have been the plane represented on screen, but it had to be a plane. And you will see moments where there's a lot of liberties taken with that. Where we had to get the inside shot of the plane blown up. We're not actually doing that, of course. I don't care. We didn't do it with a lesser plane. Well, we'll be getting to that, folks. It's almost like space flight over here. It looks like your windshield's melting, dude. Glass is actually a slow-moving liquid. Check old cars. You'll see that they have a bit of a slope, a sag in the glass where gravity's pulled it down in time. Yeah, shouting at it's going to make a difference, Mav. Mach 10, hooray. You just backtalk the Admiral? You better say, sir, yeah. Now, this being super unreliable Maverick, who's also the best pilot, you get a little bit of the both. Of course he's got to push it. Of course he's going to go past 10. Let's just go higher. Yeah, sure. If you're wondering why there's a skunk on the stick, Skunk Works. Damn it. Dropping popcorn. The classic, oh shit. Yeah, I don't think we're hitting Mach 11. Of course, Maverick's not dead to begin with, this early in the film. That said, there is no safe ejection possibility. You're going Mach 10 plus, you're going to eject. And the forces applied to your body you're just destroyed. And yet he walks away. It's probably better done this way than actually showing us a goofy ejection scene like Stealth. Kid, you really go into a diner to get Fruit Loops? You got any cash on you, Maverick? Almost the kind of joke you would find in an 80s movie. Where am I, Earth? Oh, the Navy's not happy. Only man to shoot down 3 enemy planes in 40 years. Hasn't been a lot of opportunities. Oh, you're assuming he can get an election? He win an election to be senator, huh? Tom Cruise doesn't look awful here, but he's starting to look really puffy in the face if you've seen him lately. I'm concerned we're going to get puffy Tom Cruise in the latest Mission Impossible. They're talking about the future, the AI controlled drones, no need for a pilot in the seat. You still get credit for breaking these sound records, even if you don't land. Unlike the original Top Gun, bald pain in the ass is not going to come back in the end of the movie to praise him and all that, right? Your guardian angel, who could that be? You're going to, instead of facing real punishment, you're going to be helping out at Top Gun. So we have worked Top Gun into the title here. I believe Top Gun, the first film based on a 1983 magazine article about the Navy's flight school, and they called it Top Gun, you know, things like this. I.e., that's where they get the title. But not today. Sassy line. I think Game of Thrones has come and gone, and that gets a lot of credit for that, but not today. Yeah, let's watch the planes land. You know, remember in Top Gun when he drove the motorcycle by the planes? This was thrilling to see in theaters. Oh, who do we got on the wall over here? Who was standing around to take that picture? Still from the movie. I've seen Val Kilmer look worse, but we know he's not doing so good, right? They incorporate some of that into his character. Now, Madman, yeah, over here, he's got to be a hard ass. This is interesting. The target in an unsanctioned uranium enrichment plant. They don't really say who the enemy is, so it's fictional. If you want it to be Russians, you want it to kind of be North Korea, China, something. It can float around and be just about any of these. This mountain region. Oh, hey, it's GPS jammed. Yep, and they have fighters nearby. Even a few F-14s. Those old relics, right? You got to make fun of those. You know, they have a perfect operational record. So you're doing the trench run from Star Wars, except we're going to spend most of the movie kind of training up the people to do it instead of making it the surprise add-on crescendo event of the movie. This looks super dangerous. We're not really expecting people to survive. Somehow, without the precise laser painted target tech, any of the more closer range than, you know, strike from a satellite, it just won't be possible. We have to have people flying. Oh, you're not flying. You're going to teach them how to fly it. But you know that he ain't going to let that happen. This is a Tom Cruise movie. I think that part of the goodwill this film gets compared to films doing a similar thing, bringing back the old character just to make them pass the torch so that the new people are outshine them instantly. You know, Han Solo having Rey explain that she removed the capacitor, that bullshit. No, you have Maverick being Maverick through the whole movie here. He gets a little bit of character growth. You know, he's got a little bit of arrested development. Has to deal with Goose's son being one of the people he's training. But you don't see him getting outshined. There is a little bit of relying on each other as a team. But he doesn't, you know, at the end say, oh, yeah, well, you're way better than I ever was and none of this stuff. Or now that I'm dead, I guess you have to be the new Top Gun, right? As we see so often. After this mission, you're done. Or rather, you can do this mission, but then you're going to keep being an instructor. You're no longer really flying. Glen Powell, one of the Expendables people don't remember. Expendables 3, one of the new guys. He was like the rock climbing guy, did a little bit of parachuting. I don't believe he's returning for Expendables 4. But they probably could have used him because I saw the trailer yesterday and it looked like hot ass. Texting Iceman. Not a bad way to incorporate him. If I warned you about Brewster, would you have come? Now, if you recall in the original film, there was talk of, hey, we got a game. You got to get carnal knowledge on a woman on the premise. And there were, I think at some point over there was mention of an admiral's daughter he ran off with. Jennifer Connelly is the admiral's daughter. They have a history. She's here because, well, Charlie from the original film just isn't quite looking the same. At the same time, I think there is something more to that relationship between Charlie and Maverick. As she's sort of his boss, she is the civilian liaison instructor helping them at Top Gun. But they had a bit of a hookup. They had the fling in the club. And, you know, some of this is inappropriate, but being that she's civilian, maybe he can kind of get away with it. Maybe. But the point I'm getting at is there is more of a need for him to interact with Charlie than there is for him to interact with Bartender. Penny, look, I'm sorry. No, I know how it is. Every time you screw up, Iceman says, nope, he gets to fly again. Iceman is apparently the top admiral in the Pacific or something, or like the top admiral of the Navy, like really high. Now, I would wonder if you were a fighter pilot in the Navy. I'm not saying Air Force or another service. I'm saying in the Navy. Would you be able to recognize the Michael Jordan of your sport? I feel like they should have. If your cell phone is on the bar, you have to buy a round for everybody. These are some weird rules. And I don't think they'd hold up in court. Oh, there's Phoenix. You just saw her in Fubar with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it was disappointing. Bagman. Why you call him that, huh? Don't remember those guys so much, but the guy who's going to be like her weapons tech guy over here with the glasses. Bill Pullman's son, remember? Independence Day. Glen Powell makes some funny faces over here. There's a lot of talking with the eyebrow arching. I'm not so sure it's natural, but you're supposed to get Iceman vibes from him. Like he's the resident D-bag. They just call me Bob. Thing about these call signs, you don't come up with your own. Has to be given to you. That said, I did not come up with Legendary Badass. That was given to me by a roommate in college. Look at that, I got a Ford Bronco. The old one. Hell, I think they shot this movie before the new one was available. Do I need to look at the original movie and see if Goose had an old Bronco? Because they really want you to drive home here that this guy's Goose's son. Look, he's going to have he has like the floral print stuff happening here. He has the mustache when no one else does because it's not 1986 anymore. He's going to play the same music on the piano. Nobody really recognized him. Hey, he's just some old guy in the bar. So that's Goose's son. Rooster's a good name for him. You know, we gave him another bird. Oh, the only place you lean in was the grave. Ooh, wow. Nobody wants to be with you. You just leave everybody to dry. Yeah, there you go. It is rumored that Glen Powell is canoodling with Sydney Sweeney, who I don't think she looks that great. I would say she's definitely the butterface. And even then the body, I'm not that sold on. Like the proportions are there, but then what's underneath, you know? Fanboy. Right. Okay. I forgot. What? We have a living legend at the bar no one recognizes. He's the one teaching you. What? Goose's son goes to the piano? I wonder what song he's going to play. Massive bill. Man, the inflation price on beer. Beer's really not cheap to begin with, especially when served at a bar. She's punishing him. I don't think he can really be obligated to pay these tabs. So if he gets thrown overboard, does he not have to pay? Oh man, it looks like a punishing landing on the sand there for an elder guy. Great Balls of Fire, of course. And I believe Jerry Lee Lewis recently departed. Wow, he really is Goose's son. It's like I'm looking at back in time here. Yeah. Who would have ever guessed this connection could be made? Never really get we could have worked Meg Ryan into this somehow, couldn't we? Don't see why she got done dirty too. In case you haven't seen the first movie, let's get you up to speed here with the flashbacks. Goose had one of the most touching cinematic deaths. It's got to be on the list. Not a bad touch going with this stilted frame rate for the flashbacks. I like being able to see something that differentiates the flashbacks, right? If something is all made contemporary, too often they have a tough time showing you what's supposed to have taken place in the past. Though as grainy as the old film stock looked there, I think that could have been your tell. But like Top Gun, the cadets have a run-in at the bar with an instructor. But this time, the instructor they have the run-in with is Maverick. So we do a lot of repeating the same beats, and it doesn't feel like it's its own movie at times. But I do feel like it is, regardless, a strong movie. It delivers in a lot of the key places. It's nice that there's not so much of an emphasis on what You're the first woman to, you're the first woman. They're letting women, I can't believe women are better than men. There's none of that. There, this is just like Charlie walking in. Oh no. See, Hangman is actually Maverick. He gave the, oh my God, no. What? Same expression Maverick gave when he saw Charlie walk in. Hangman is not the smooth Iceman. He is more erratic. He's Maverick. Disobeying orders, but he ultimately does help save them. No one ever walks to a podium with a giant file or book and says, we're going to go buy the book. It's always, we're throwing the book in the trash. Make sure you have a trash can by the podium for the hell of it. I'm going to need that as a prop. All right, show them what you're made of there. It's strongly implied that Maverick kept Rooster out of the program, didn't want to be a pilot, didn't want him to suffer the same fate as Dad. His mom told him, keep him out of the skies. And he did his best to try to make sure he couldn't get into any of this stuff. So far, we've had a lot of classic rock playing. As the new songs go, the Lady Gaga that plays at the end, it's aping Take My Breath Away by Berlin, and it's kind of failing at it. It's very milquetoast. But I did think that there's a song when they're playing on the beach. They're playing their football on the beach. I think that's the song I'm thinking of there by One Republic. I think that's probably actually your star song of the soundtrack. There is a lot of getting the actors actually in planes, and it looks great. There are occasions where you can see that they then fudged it, where they, I noticed, notably, particularly in the F-14, you can see there were some moments there where they were stationary, but they wanted to get a close-up shot of Rooster reacting things, but doing miscellaneous things in the cockpit. Otherwise, the authenticity of actually getting the plane in the air, having the camera mounted in a manner in which you can see around the talent, not just, hey, we'll spin a backdrop behind him, which I thought it worked pretty well in the original film, and you had plenty of shots of cameras mounted on wings, and a lot of it was on from the ground perspective. Special stipulation for this exercise: if Maverick takes you out, or whoever goes out first, has to do 200 push-ups. There is little chance in hell any of these pilots can do 200 push-ups. So she's really the only one with a wingman, right? Or was the fanboy and somebody else? Were they? I mean, not a wingman, but the wingman is separate from your plane. But she's got a passenger of sorts, a weapons specialist, whatever. All right, so Phoenix is down. She's going to have to do 200 push-ups. I like how Hangman's lettering on his helmet. It's like the game Hangman. He's got like two A's missing, it looks like. You have to fill in with your mind. They call him Bagman because he left. He leaves his wingman, bails out, I guess. Yeah, I'm not buying that any of them are doing 200 push-ups. Not at once, not in uniform with a guy counting. That's damn sure. Oh, it's the classic move. Flipping the bird. And there's CGI here. I don't think it's too terribly distracting. We've gotten to a point where we can make CGI that won't be easily sorted, sussed out by the average film goer. All right, so did Maverick chicken out first there, or how are we calling this? Okay, now why didn't he just do that move also? Like, that's what I'm kind of confused about. Why don't you just throw on the brakes and do the loop? Of course, that looks impressive. You got Tom Cruise in that one shot as he rolls out. But we're told that for insurance reasons, Top Gun Maverick did not actually allow Tom Cruise to fly these planes. However, he does fly the P-51 trainer at the end. I believe that's his own plane, and so therefore, that's part of the loophole. If he owns it, he can fly it. Pulled my papers. Wouldn't even let me apply to the academy. We got to come up with an explanation here because he's a child in Top Gun. He would be, potentially too old to be at the being instructed point of this movie. So, hey, we pulled my papers that set me back. Yeah, there we go. Hey, Madman, you want to be in Top Gun Maverick? Sure, yeah. Do I get a fly? No, you get to chew out Maverick the whole time. That's kind of what you do. And you eat crow. and How to Come Home. Well, we weren't really thinking about the coming home. We were wanting them to strike that target. We weren't really betting on them coming home, but that's optional. I'm not training pilots on a suicide mission. The hard deck being the minimum of which you're allowed to fly. I mean, I guess it makes sense. You got the deck below, ceilings above. Hey, that's him. Now I know the secret. I know the secret. This guy has a mustache. He must be Rooster's dad. Hey, Theo, you got big. So he's seen her some since mentioned in the first movie. I actually thought that this actress was Siri Cruz. As best I can tell, not related to Tom Cruise, but looks like an amalgamation of Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes. So I thought, oh hey, is that Siri grown up? It is Siri, right? Siri Cruz. No, I'm going to pay for the bill. He does need to pay in the sense that nobody else paid that night, right? The bar would be out of business if you had people punished to buy the round and then not doing it. Man, that is a giant ass wheel, isn't it? He's right. He doesn't do a lot of sailing himself. He just lands on them. Man, did we find a choppy enough day to go sailing? Never been sailing. I'm from Kansas. It's not a thing that happens. Hey, if you wanted some alone time with Jennifer Connelly, but you had to put up with some choppy seas and, trial by fire sailing, I guess you go for it, right? She lives at a house that may as well be Charlie's. We're doing this. We know each other really well. I know the expression you're making with my back turned. Oh, Mav has that impression on ladies. Amelia, what do you think of the name Amelia? Let me know in the comments below. Well, here we go through briefing on the trench run. I'm not saying it's technically impossible to have these kind of schematics shown up on screen. I'm just wondering if it's common occurrence to go to this elaborate of a presentation. Okay, maybe the hard deck is the ceiling actually. They keep talking up the defenses being fourth gen fighters. That their F-18s don't stand a chance against these fourth generation fighters. So we got to get in and out. We can't be bothered to engage. We'll lose. So we put on a hell of a lot of G's. We have to make some really steep climbs. We really have to weave. Now they're saying max ceiling. So which is it? Ceiling, deck, what? Oh, you're dead. As soon as you break the 300-foot ceiling, you're gonna eat missile. Tell it to Bob's family. I mean, they're flying together. They'd both be murdered, right? He's right. They couldn't keep up. That's the way Maverick would have said it. Hey, he's dead because he didn't keep up. We have a timetable to make. It's funny. There's a yell in Harvard in the group. Which I'm assuming they went to Yale and Harvard respectively. Fifth gen fighters. I'm sorry. And they're really vague about what planes these are exactly, but they're fifth gen. A man flies like Maverick, or a man doesn't come back. Yeah. As he looks over at Phoenix, and this guy's got the smarmy. Yeah, I mean, there's it's a little too much smirk in this performance. Oh, we're coming to blows. He's testing Maverick here. He knows Maverick wants him cut from the mission because he took an oath from his dying mom to keep him safe, keep him grounded. Oh, we're gonna go check in with Iceman. I need to see you. Not a good time. I'm not asking. That's how you reply in a text like a man. Okay, this is not a shirt I wanted to drop buttery ice or buttery popcorn on, but yet I'm doing it. It's come back. The cancer. I think people were curious how Val Kilmer was going to be utilized. He doesn't actually talk in this movie. From my understanding of it, AI does it. I think it's a similar thing they used for James Earl Jones's AI voice to voice Darth Vader in the Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus series. I mean, if you're having a conversation with somebody who just has to type stuff out, maybe he could have just texted you. Kid's not ready. Of course, we got to say that. It's time to let go. I thought we kind of already did the letting go thing at the end of Top Gun. You threw the dog tags of Goose into the ocean. He's kind of right. Maverick doesn't really know how to let go. He kind of stays, I'm a pilot. I'm going to keep being a pilot, damn it. Postponing this movie to make more money with theaters opened may have possibly cost Tom Cruise a Best Picture, or well, I guess Best Picture as well, but the Best Actor Oscar, because he goes through a lot in this movie. I'm not so sure the public is convinced he's not really just playing Tom Cruise and going by Maverick. But at the same time, postponing it and then letting everybody else, make their how's the best way to say this? Comeuppance vengeance bits, the pander, the films come in, all that stuff. We're making an Asian night. Oh, hey, look, Brendan Fraser Renaissance. It made it pretty hard for Top Gun. Here we go. That's not actually Val Kilmer talking. There will be other liberties taken with sounds in this movie. Oh, he wants to know who was the best pilot. Hey, did Iceman win the Top Gun prize simply because Maverick was rattled and basically quit? Where's everybody? Team building. Team building with One Republic. This is essentially the same thing as the volleyball scene, but we've replaced volleyball with beach football. I'm guessing Tom Cruise must have drank strictly water, ate vegetable puree or something, and possibly didn't eat for a day to try to look like this without a shirt off at his age. Of course, there's no real football going on here. I'm not seeing anyone picking up a blocker, nothing. I don't even worry about it right now. Yeah. Probably the best song in the film of the new stuff. And they do address the fact that there isn't any actual football going on over here. Maybe Bob doesn't have the physique of the others, so he designated shirt. Yeah, we're calling it dogfight football. Yeah, okay. Look, it's team building exercise. Come on. I have taken part in some odd team building exercises. I was in a marketing club in high school, and they would sometimes have us go do things like this. And I mean, it wasn't dogfight football on the beach, but a lot of trying to come out of your comfort zone, trust fall sort of things, the usual. Oh, well, it was an opportunity to throw in some golden hours photography, right? Also, I find it kind of sweet how we have the older dating. Oh, look at that. She has a Porsche. She has an old Porsche. You know who else had an old Porsche? Charlie. Isn't that a coincidence? But I'm saying it's kind of sweet how you have the romance, but you also have to address the fact that she's got like a teenage daughter. So how weirded out is she going to be over this? Things like that, right? Possibly missed opportunity for Take My Breath Away. Brackets, no audible dialogue. He's got his shirt off. She does not. Or maybe she's got a blanket draped over her back. Jennifer Connelly, not young, but not doing too bad. Got to tell everybody you pulled his papers? Come on. His mother never wanted him to fly, not like Goose. She made me promise before she died. Of what? Heartbreak, like shortly after? Like, what happened? I was trying to be the father he lost. And how I kind of messed up, I guess. Of course, he still blames himself for what happened, even though the investigation determined it was not pilot error. Have we seen what Maverick's place looks like? Like, does he not have a home, a room he's rented or anything in this area? This isn't our first date. Well, is it a first date after, a long layover? How does a first date qualify? I'm never leaving you again. Oh. This is kind of funny. I'm going to make a smooth exit out the window. And right in front of her. Guess I could have used the stairs. Just don't break her heart again. So he knows the dog. The dog can't be 30 plus years old. The dog cannot be at least 34 years old. When was the last time they've been in contact? He's seen the daughter before. Oh, you grown up, things like that. You have one less week to train. I can't think of a circumstance where someone's only a captain as long as he's been in the Air Force. I guess if you go higher than captain, they don't let you fly. So he's like, I'll just stay captain. Do you have to do it upside down? I guess I don't fully see why you would do that other than to show off. But then again, I had a tough time working the Dark Star in Flight Simulator, and it seems as though there is some reasoning for turning over like that. Miracle 1, just making the opening for the second guys to then destroy the target. Miracle 3, everybody getting out alive. Now, here's the thing. In training, they routinely miss the target, making you think they have a slim chance, if any, of actually pulling this off. You're going beyond the limit, beyond the limit of the aircraft. I'm telling you, older people will be able to do this without the blacking out issue. Or more likely, the older pilots. Sam, surface-to-air missiles. All right, so now are they realizing they're on a suicide mission? That's CGI plane, but okay. Well, everybody's just borrowing Bob over here. Like he's the only one who can look at radar. Yeah, firing the blind without the laser, not going to work. Make that intense face for us. Level out, Coyote. Oh, he blacked out. I don't really know how going after him can help. You can't like tractor beam him. There isn't really a way to rescue the pilot. You gotta just kind of talk him into rescuing himself. Oh, now he realizes he's about to crash. Okay. The one thing this movie doesn't do to ape the original is the training accident resulting in a death. The bird strike's kind of the closest we get to that accident, really, but they recover. I wonder if there would be that automated voice Engine fire, right. And they eject safely. You know, CGI crash. Oh, it's real planes. No, it's not real planes. There's fake surface air missile battery. There's a number of explosions are not real. I don't know if they had a rough landing or not, but they're in the hospital overnight for observation. Maybe they could have had a concussion. I've never lost a wingman. You're lucky. Fly long enough, and you will. Will ya? We don't have a ton of planes getting shot down in several decades, so you shouldn't be losing wingmen, actually. So much talk about the papers being pulled, it's almost as though we should have saw it happen. Think up there, you're dead. Yeah. Got some bad news. Iceman's passed away. It looks like a highly airbrushed portrait. But I was a little misled here. I tried, look, for years I've tried to avoid trailers and TV spots. I feel they give away too much, but from what I could see, it looked like there was Jennifer Connelly being sad at a funeral, which made me think they're doing the thing. They're doing the torch pass. They're going to kill Maverick, so you have to like the new heroes. Of course, they also show this part here, though. You wouldn't have Maverick in dress uniform at his own funeral standing above, so I guess you could draw the conclusion that Iceman would be the one with the funeral. Pretty good turnout. We have to assume that Iceman and Maverick got to be really good buds in the years to come. Now that Iceman's not here to bail you out. Man, this guy really has it out for Mav, doesn't he? I mean, he's going to have to disobey a lot of direct orders in order to get back in the sky. I don't really see the recourse here, like, logically. It is kind of nice that they wrote in a scenario in which Iceman can give him these privileges. So I guess the idea being that because there was a crash, a bird strike, it has to be Maverick's fault. Now we're going to say new parameters. You go slower, but we're going to be killed. Now you just give it a shot. Must have done something to prep a plane and get in the sky and show them that this run can be done. And by showing them it can be done and being the one who can do it, kind of makes him the one to do it, doesn't it? You should have been thinking about this ahead of time. Like, in order for you guys to do this, I guess if you saw me do it, then you can follow my ghost, in a sense. Like, it's easier to do a racing game when you have the ghost times to compare yourself against, right? Something of a simulated valley here, I guess, for him to make this run. I mean, it has to be identical to what they actually have in Imaginary Country, where they're going to do this offensive, but... So I guess that's the chart they'd be looking at. I'm not sure how you designate this to the pilot, where they need to make these turns. Edge of your seat excitement. Oh, he's going to do it. Can he make the climb? Now you can invert so you can dive back. Now, essentially, he's doing this as if he's the first miracle here. The next one, so he exposes the target. The next one takes out the target. 9.5 Gs. How are these planes maintaining? Seems like you're going well beyond bullseye. Yeah, CGI bullseye, but... Still alive, Maverick? Of course, after you make this climb, the SAMs are on you. I mean, you're not home yet. Let's not say he stole it. He took it for a test. Well, fact is, we need you. Oh, yeah, it's a rhetorical question. Okay, got you. You're the new team leader. The hard deck. That's never barred. I think the hard deck is the lowest point you can fly. You're allowed to fly for the exercise, I think. Deck should be at the bottom, right? The ceilings, they've mentioned the ceiling also, so that's got to be it. What is the hard deck? The hard deck is an imaginary ground level. Okay, that's what I thought. You don't exceed the hard deck, it could be dangerous for, you know, civilians below, whatever. Well, I'm back in the skies, but it's dangerous. This could be goodbye. Is this the boat from the beginning of the movie? Maybe. If it's the carrier from the beginning of the movie, it sure is really out of place that we ever, you know, showed everybody taking off from it when Maverick wasn't one of them. Talk to me, Goose. I gotta say, talk to me, Goose. Where's a good opportunity for me to say that? Got support from Warlock there. Good. It's only at this point that he's going to tell everybody who is on what team. Payback and Fanboy, okay? Who's your wingman? Rooster? You picked Rooster over Hangman? Hangman's supposed to be the top rated guy. All right. Everybody stand by for carrier. Okay. Reserve role. Hangman feels a little left out. So some of these people are surprised who made it and whatever. Hey, Yale and Harvard didn't make it. Secret uranium enrichment site. How many scientists are we taking out? Here we go with the vague 5th gen fighters. We know they're 5th gen. We don't. Are they UAVs now? Because we don't say UFOs. There's, I mean, at what gen do you call a UAV at this point? All right, let's go, guys. Come on. Of course, we wrap up with come home safely, right? Miles Teller a little out of focus there. Odd. You want to say what? Yeah, we're not done talking. So we'll talk when we get back. Yeah, you better get back if you want to talk. All right, let's see if he actually's got it, you know? When you first saw this, were you thinking, yeah, Maverick's going to get sacrificed here? He's going to get sacrificed to save these young pups? It's got to be the way this is going. It's the way things have been shaping up in Hollywood. All right, it's all been leading up to this. I need to see a side-by-side comparison on Top Gun versus Top Gun Maverick helmets. Surely he's not flying with the same helmet all these years later. You know, the innovations we have to see in helmet technology in football, right? This was the shot that we got for our big teaser trailer, launching off the deck. And it was like, oh man, it's like a real launch. We're like, whoa, this is crazy. I mean, there's a nice amount of effort to this. They're descending below radar, but it looks like we're going to hide in the clouds. I'm trying to think, what big movies are coming out this summer? Have we already done it? We had our Fast 10, The Little Mermaid. There's a Spider-Man animation thing. I think that came out this past week, or I don't know, but what's next? I don't know. Obviously, for these cockpit scenes, they're in the second seat, you know, behind the actual pilot. CGI missiles coming in, yep. Missiles are fast. We got it. It's amazing how well missiles do without wings, isn't it? We got to get under a bridge, which I think that's a, you know, not actually done that way, but I mean, still, most of this looks pretty good to me. Those aren't actual missiles anywhere, yeah. Uh-oh. Long-range patrol, we didn't account for this. Now the Tomahawks hit the air base to try to buy them some time, take out the opposition before it gets airborne. And evidently NATO signed off on this strike, by the way. There we go. Take up the airstrip. Sorry, I try not to cling my root beer. Rooster's afraid to go fast. Whoa. Yeah, they're not actually flying under and through a bridge like that. Sorry, but they did enough practical effort to get people to think everything else was done legit. We live in a time now where people have conversations in cars in a green screen studio because they can't be bothered to actually go down the road in a movie. But this one, they'll put the pilots in the sky. I think that they can get away with this operation if done to a T because no one would expect anybody being able to do this as a team. Though, I don't know, are we at a point where we could get drones to, drive the perfect race car? Drive the perfect racing lines, all that, as they do in a simulation, Forza, Gran Turismo? Would it be that much of a stretch to get planes to do all of this automatically? The invert. All right, we're about ready to drop payload. Climb, baby, climb. Hang in there, Bob. All right, we got target opened up, and the missiles go in. Obviously CGI explosion, but I mean, you knew that had to be the case, right? Now, if they can just get home safely. And by defending, they're dropping the... they're not depth charges. What are they? Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. I've been hitting with the lingo, but I can't remember. Countermeasures? I don't know. Is that what they call it? Yeah, all right, they said countermeasures. There we go. Of course, they're not launching missiles anywhere near these planes. How many countermeasures do you got? Of course, the idea being that they emit a ton of heat to pick up on the heat-seeking missiles. You'd think at that point they would have worked out something with the missiles, not just make them strictly heat-seeking. I'm coming back. I'm not leaving my wingman. I'm not bagman back there. Try to shield for him with your countermeasures. Oh no. Maverick's hit. And I'm thinking, oh, this is so the way this would go down. He's dying to protect Goose's son. Like, you have to think that's a possibility. The 5th gen fighter's coming, man. You can't do search and rescue with the bandits in there. You guys got to realize that. Don't even ask. Time to disobey some orders. I never really like the cut to black, fade out. It's a weird that this convention seems to, I guess, it works for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're trying to tell a story, but then we do this thing that takes you out of the movie, but you're like, oh yeah, that's right. Some time passed. Somebody got knocked out. Where it always goes that way, right? And I think we got a hind over there, but I believe it's CGI. I don't think they used a real chopper. It was certainly giving me those vibes in theaters. Makes you think possible Russian ally of some kind, right? Be using a Soviet helicopter. Rooster circled around. Of course, when the good guys' planes get shot by a missile, they don't go up immediately. They actually have some time to recover, to bail out all that. But if bad guy, might just his whole plane explode. I'm guessing that is a long run right there on poor old Tom Cruise to catch up with Rooster. Oh, he's pissed. You are not to come back here and rescue me. You taught me not to think. You're right. He has got to be more short of breath. Like, that's an insane run he just made. I guess we have to do the behind enemy lines thing. What's he not serious about? Oh, I'll tell you what he's not serious about. Taking one of the F-14s for a joyride. Let's find out. Could they feasibly sneak in? Maybe. Could they feasibly get this thing airworthy, refueled? There'll have to be some preparations, in place beforehand. They're lucky that this thing was not affected by the strike. It certainly wasn't a contingency plan. Like, hey, plan B, go, steal one of those F-14s to use. And they don't really have a runway either. I mean, there's a lot going against them. Much older interior here. F-14, we're looking at, I think, a 70s aircraft. Now, there was, I believe, a good judgment call, okay, regarding the liberty with sound effects of the F-14, particularly in relation to the computer program sound effects. Yeah, this I may as well be in a foreign language here for Rooster. How's he going to know how this works? But this is not an actual F-14. It kind of is. It kind of isn't. It's CGI moving. They have parts of it that they were able to mock up to reassemble because they didn't have an airworthy F-14 to use for the movie. So when it's flying, it's CGI. It's CGI, and if anything, at best it's CGI over another plane. Because they did redress a lot of the planes with CGI to make them what they needed them to be, essentially, for the scenes. But what I'm saying here is they had parts of F-14 they could sit in and they could kind of interact with on the outside as they climbed in, but that's about it. And, quite obvious hitting this tower is not, an actual plane skimming it. You mess up your landing gear. Okay, so the computer program systems in the F-14, they sound like they did in Top Gun. They sound like they did in the first movie, which all took the same liberties. And I think it's a good call because think about what 70s computer programs sounded like. They sounded like classic arcade games. Beep, blop, bloop, bleep, when you have tone, when you got lock on, it's like, they don't do that in the movie. It's a goofy sound in relation to the audience. The audience would associate it with, oh, that's a silly sound. That sounds like Space Invaders or something like, or Pac-Man. If you want the audience to take the scene seriously, you're going to have to make a call to be like, hey, let's modernize the sound effects a bit, Let's try to keep it a little more restrained. There is a YouTube video I guess I can link it. Hell, it maybe got taken down. It's showing this scene with the accurate sound effects for the F-14, and it is jarring. Now, perhaps if the original movie used the authentic sound effects, we could take this seriously with the authentic sound effects if everybody knew what to expect. Now our comms are bad. That signal go down in 3. What? You better start pulling over? What is it? We're a few generations apart. Yeah, I get you. Hey, I shut down 3 MiGs in this thing. Let's go. Let's go. All right, we got him to cross up and shoot his buddy. That helps. Quite fortuitous. Doing like the original movie, you know, the enemies, they have the sun visors on, right? You can't see their faces. I like that touch. You see it brought up in some war movies where you have an enemy, you have the good guys, the bad guys. You don't want to humanize the enemy too much. We got mechanical throttle over here. Oh yeah. Brakes or whatever. Yeah, I mean it's instead of there's a difference. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think they made the right call going with the restrained sound? The first F-bomb of a Top Gun. Fifth Gen fighter can just kind of cheat code his way through all this, huh? I mean, in a way, it makes you wonder why the U.S. didn't have their 5th gen stuff. Why didn't they have a Raptor on hand? How come Hangman isn't sitting in a Raptor or a F-35? Push it to the limit. Come on. Oh, you can see the weightlessness there in the cabin. Miles Teller has little to do other than react to a lot of this, but I mean, it's a cool position to be in, isn't it? I think you're out of rounds at this point. Oh, I think you got a hit. Nice. Mr. 5th Gen's got a bail. Of course, now you can't do that in camera. Oh, man. There's a guy coming to us. I'm out of ammo. Now, they haven't been able to communicate to their allies that they're returning with an F-14. But I mean, I guess they picked up on the fact that you got a 5th-gen fighter shooting at these guys. Something's up. It's amazing. They got shot on the back there, but it didn't even do much. Oh, he's trying to leave them, but the ejection's not working. Someone's got to save us. And who did the saving at the end of Top Gun? Who was the guy that was in that was playing the 6th man waiting on deck and got called into action? Maverick. Now Hangman. I'm telling you, Hangman is Maverick. He's not Iceman. Although the landing is going to be rough. I wonder how well this barricade thing can work for this. I had to do the mythical. Okay, so there's the tower flyby, unannounced though. Usually it's requested and then denied, but that call back to the original movie. The original NES game with the Top Gun theme was amazing on the NES. Check it out. But everybody complained about landing on the aircraft carrier. In the Microsoft Flight Simulator DLC, you can land on the aircraft carrier, and I pulled it off. And it didn't seem that tough, but I think I had a lot of assistance. I don't believe you had to do it without a front landing gear, but... well, we made it. Everybody's safe. Of course, we got to have a celebration on the flight deck, right? All right, there's something you want to talk to me about, right? You said we'd talk after. Oh, come on. How come we couldn't get a kiss from Phoenix? Does he have 5? So you're saying he shot down 2 here? Because it looked to me like he got the guy's buddy to shoot his own teammate. So I think he has 1, actually. I think that makes him 4, not 5. You got to have 5 to be an ace. Hey, I don't make the rules. Oh, you just had to bring your dad into it. Oh, but we're not quite done yet. We still have to sweep Jennifer Connelly off her feet. Remember, They celebrate, but then they have to have an ending of sorts, and he goes to a bar, right? So we got to go to a bar still. We got to do that because it was in the first movie. Do they have enough cups hanging from the ceiling? This guy clearly was in the dark. Oh, it's just a, hey, Mav, how's it going? Not, oh my God, you survived. I heard. Kind of working on my pet project plane over here. Wait, what's Amelia doing? Does that mean your mom Penny's here too? Who wants to go flying? Not a bad 9/11 right there either. It's like, what, a 72? Lady Gaga. This is a very rare P-51 trainer. 2 seats. Tom Cruise actually flying. I have to wonder if Lady Gaga's overpowering rhythm or the copyright bots or whatever. I got to crank this down. Not a real memorable song, you know. I think it was up for best song, didn't win. The original movie showed everybody like this with the font, you know, everybody's name. Predator did the same kind of ending, but it seemed, or similar, but it was also kind of a little bit more awkward in there. In Predator, though, you could totally remix this and, you know, give it a little bit of a Full House vibe. Everywhere you look, hey, look, it's Miles Teller's rooster. And Tom Cruise's Maverick. There you go. Did he do all the loop-de-loop flying with Jennifer Connelly in there? I'm not sure. Well, that's going to do it for Top Gun Maverick. What'd you guys think about this? Of course, it's in memory of Tony Scott. Fortunate he wasn't around to helm the sequel. But I think Joseph Kosinski did a good job, and everybody's going to look at this Tom Cruise power producer role here. You know, it's a Tom Cruise movie just like an Adam Sandler movie. Well, until next time, adios.